Powered by Riverside FM.
Theo Jackson for the Minnesota Vikings has just been extended, and this is big news. This is not a splash nationally, but I think it's a big news for the Minnesota Vikings fans, UP Nation, Skull Nation, because it gives you an idea of what the Purple is thinking. The Minnesota Vikings have agreed to terms with safety Theo Jackson on a 2-year extension worth about $12.6 million. His agency announced on Wednesday the deal reinforces a position group that can undergo significant upheaval in the coming weeks, putting Jackson in line to secure a starting job. Jackson was scheduled to be a restricted free agent, but is now under contract through the 2027 season, according to his agents at Equity Sports, and has fully guarantees into 2026. This is pretty significant because it basically says bye to Cam Beasley. One of my favorite players for the Minnesota Vikings. His last couple of years with the Vikes have just been outstanding. I hate to see Cam Beasley go, but I think he was going to be a little bit too expensive for the Vikings. I told you in, previous podcasts that, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't bring back Byron Murphy and if they didn't bring back Cam Bynum. I was hoping that they could bring back one of the two, but I think the market is going to dictate that the Minnesota Vikings can't invest that amount of money in that position, where basically extending Theo Jackson gives them the opportunity to cut that salary almost in half at that position to be able to allocate money in other areas, which the Minnesota Vikings need. Hint, hint, the trenches. So I think it's a really, really good move. If you think about Theo Jackson, his name came out of training camp a lot last year for the Minnesota Vikings, and I think there were a lot of people that thought he was going to get more significant playing time with the Minnesota Vikings last year. He played in all the games last year, didn't see a multitude of snaps, but saw some playing time. Key interception against the Seattle Seahawks, if you remember that game last season. Theo Jackson is a Rough Rider, man. The dude can play. Now that he's been extended, I would assume that he's going to get a bigger role, if not have that starting job, which just sends, the message to me that Cam Bynum is going to be gone, pretty much for sure. And although things have not been announced in terms of Byron Murphy, I think Byron Murphy's price tag is going to be a lot as well. And I think you're going to see some turnover in the Minnesota Vikings safety room. We're still waiting on Harrison Smith. It looks like, for all intents and purposes, he's going to be coming back. I'm down with Harry the Hitman coming back for one more year. Be interesting to see what his price point's going to be, what the Minnesota Vikings going to give him for another year of play. I do think this is going to be his last year, and I honestly think the reason why he is back is because B-Flow did not get a job offer this past offseason to be a head coach. I think if Brian Flores would have gotten an offer somewhere and accepted an offer somewhere, that I think Harrison Smith would not be back. I think he and Brian Flores are in lockstep. He loves B-Flow. B-Flow loves him. I've heard from some of my sources that Harrison Smith wishes that Brian Flores had gotten to the Minnesota Vikings earlier because he's just really, really enjoying playing in his system. But big news about Theo Jackson. It's going to be interesting to see how all of this stuff hashes out. You got, I just mentioned the Harrison Smith stuff, but the Byron Murphy stuff. It's just, this is a deal that basically gives the Vikings a little bit more cap space in terms of not having to spend major dollars on that cornerback position with Byron Murphy and that safety position with Cam Beasley. So it gives you an insight, number one, what the Vikings think of Theo Jackson. because they had the money to sign Cameron Bynum, and they chose to go this direction. So, again, looking at Theo Jackson's body of work over the past year, they no doubt have confidence in this young man to be able to come in and play some snaps for them for sure. So that gives you an insight on what the Vikings are thinking. And the Vikings are financially conscious right now. They are not going to waste any dollars to be able to make a significant impact in terms of free agency on this team. And it just leads me to believe that the whole fodder about Sam Darnold coming back is just that. Why you would want to spend any amount of money, even if it's 15 mil, which it won't be, or 20 mil, which it won't be, because Sam Darnold's going to garner a lot more money than that on the open market. Why you would want to waste that 15, 20 mil, no matter what the dollar amount is, if Sam Darnold were to come in cheap, why you would want to waste those dollars in that area for a backup when you can get a fully capable backup cheaper than what Sam Darnold may garner. And I know people are saying, well, Sam Darnold's been in the system. He succeeded in the system. But now you're put in a situation where, you're going to have a quarterback controversy, quarterback competition. You don't want that for J.J. McCarthy. You want J.J. McCarthy to be the man going into the season next year. So I don't see the Vikings, again, wasting dollars to bring back a Sam Darnold. They have shown that they're going to be financially responsible at the cornerback position and at the safety position. They're going to do the same thing at the quarterback position. And when they make moves, if they sign somebody for big dollars, it's going to be someone that comes in and that is impactful. They are not going to stranglehold the Vikings cap with potentially bad contracts. And again, Cam Beasley, I'm a big fan. Byron Murphy, I'm a big fan. I just think those guys are a little bit too expensive for the body of work that they have shown the last couple of years. So, big news, Theo Jackson signing an extension with the Minnesota Vikings. Being a Minnesota Vikings fan, I'm extremely happy. Great decision, Kwesi. Theo, can't wait to see you in an expanded role with the Purple, especially in that Brian Flores defense. This has been Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button and consider becoming a member. If you sign up for a membership, you will be automatically entered in a drawing to win a Minnesota Vikings Winter Warrior jersey. Man, those things are fire. So hit that membership, hit that like and subscribe button. This is Unconventional Playbook. We will make sure to see ya when we see ya.